Good evening, I'm Huang Win, and this is my historical oral presentations. Years has been passed since Martin Luther King gave his speech about "I have a dream." However, those words, those sentences, still has been in people's heart and become the most memorable speech of all time. It was not because who he is, what his attention is, or how affectionate he was at the time, but it's because of his intense skill of making speech. Learning and mastering all of 7 major elements of communications were one of the reasons that helped him to achieve his success. Martin Luther King was an American Baptist minister, was well known as the leader of the civil rights movement. He also was the one who believed and fight for the tenets of nonviolence and the civil disobedience. On August 28, 1963, he gave his speech "I Have a Dream" in Washington, D.C. during the civil rights movement. About messages, since Martin Luther King fight for the civil rights, "I Have a Dream" became his masterpiece of showing people what he believed and what he wanted to do for the world, for people who was under the discriminations. He tried to, during the speech, he told people that 100 years later, what Negro have been suffer, have not gotten their freedom, have not been treated like other treated whites. He also emphasized that everybody, all people had to stand side by side to be able to fight for this right, the right of being human, that without having the discriminations. And he also saying that there is no other time better than that time, the 1963. It was the dream he wanted to represent. About the channels, using the formal communications network with the microphones, he connected not only to the people who facing him, but also to their heart. By that way, his facial expressions, his body movement, eye contact, and also tones of voice becomes the factors that lead into his success. He talks slowly and using very simple vocabulary because he knows most of the people who attended there didn't have chance to attend a lot of knowledge. The audience got too excited and gave a lot of applause. It was a good sign, of course. However, it also brings the interruption. It was a public speech, therefore there's a lot of people that's coming. Most of them must be the colored people who was under the discriminations. Also, there's also people in general who wanted and believed to get a better life or a better other equal life. During the speech, we all could see that the audience gave him a lot of applause. They admire him, they believe him, and they agreed with him because they know that what he was talking about is what he actually getting out from his action, from his experience. However, the feedback didn't just stop at that. Like he said, 1963 was not the end, it was the beginning. And just like that, his speech actually got published worldwide and become one of the symbols of the civil rights movement. For a conclusion, I just want to say, nowadays the technology is getting to an extreme level, so people tend to taking advantage of it. And there's a lot more and more conference meeting or online classes. That's why communications, like original speak communication, have not learned into his deepest. And having a chance watching "I Have a Dream" of Martin Luther King one more time and learning more and figure out more of his talents, giving me the idea and also open my mind about how the strength of the communications. Thank you for listening.